Well, the Spider-Man Brand New Day rumors continue to come our way, and now it appears we might actually know which major MCU character is going to appear in the film. Marvel has to provide one familiar face from their universe for each Spider-Man project, and this time it looks like it might be green. So, let's dive in. Well, as many of you know, the pieces to Spider-Man Brand New Day are coming together. In recent weeks, we've started to get more and more reports about the film, and as production gears up, I'm sure many of the Hollywood insiders are going to provide us with more details. Now, in these details, we've heard a lot, especially about villains, but one thing that doesn't seem to be front and center is what MCU character will be part of this film. Now, I'm sure you noticed, the Spider-Man movies definitely always have an MCU character in it. The first film included Iron Man, the second film had Nick Fury, and the third film had Doctor Strange. Now, this is part of the agreement between Sony and Marvel, and basically anytime Marvel makes a Spider-Man movie, well, the agreement dictates that a major MCU face will be part of that project. And one of the questions that has been up in the air for a couple of weeks is, who is that going to be? Now, over the weekend, we started to get some pretty interesting details on this front, and it turns out it might not be who anybody was expecting. Now, in case you didn't know, Destin Daniel Cretton is directing this film, so the ongoing rumor was that that character would be Shang-Chi, a character many people felt like was way overdue to reappear inside the MCU. But now we've got a whole new series of reports that seem to indicate it will not be Shang-Chi, but will be the Incredible Hulk. Now, like always, this isn't from Marvel Studios or Kevin Feige, so we're going to take it with a grain of salt. But it does come via Nexus Point News, who in the past year has a great track record on covering some of these things, especially when it comes to appearances versus story details. Now, according to Nexus Point News, not only will Bruce Banner be part of Brand New Day, the site went on to report, and I quote, "Banner's appearance will be much larger than a cameo, and Ruffalo will have a substantial role in this film." Right out of the gate, I start to get a bit of a science bro feel for this, because like Tony Stark, Tom Holland's character often in the comics is a scientist, and that's something that hasn't been explored very much in the films, and I could definitely see it being part of this movie. Now, what's more interesting is as more reports come out, it seems like his role could be setting up other things. Now, once the report dropped over the weekend, we got a follow-up report from Alex Perez at the Cosmic Circus, and this was on his Discord server. Now, according to him, Marvel Studios is looking to deliver, and I quote, "one of the MCU's biggest, if not the biggest, stunt sequence for Spider-Man Brand New Day." He went on to say it was expected to take a month to shoot. And although this doesn't necessarily point to it being the Hulk or require Mark Ruffalo on set, a lot of this will be motion captured, and you can see where we could be getting a classic Spider-Man versus the Incredible Hulk fight in this film. Now, at this point, it's led to a ton of speculation, because with so many villains already expected to be in the movie, we suspect Tombstone, Scorpion, Boomerang, and maybe even Mr. Negative will be part of this film. Well, adding the Hulk as a character in the film seems to crowd the project, but what if those villains were just supporting characters, kind of montagey, and the Hulk is the big bad? One of the rumors, and I want to be really clear, this rumor is coming from a source that's often not very right, is that the Green Goliath will not only be a big part of the film, but could serve as a major villain in the film, suggesting that the Smart Hulk, which we became used to in recent years, could revert back to his savage nature. Now, there's a couple of pluses and minuses here we should consider. All of us are expecting to see Mark Ruffalo in the upcoming Avengers films, and I believe his chair was one of those in the announcement. But that doesn't mean that version of the Hulk is the one from the standard MCU Earth, and he could be a variant. It also leaves open the possibility for the Savage Hulk to be part of the Secret Wars event, which, if you're a fan of the original comic, well, the version we got was definitely not the Professor Hulk version, although he wasn't the full-blown Savage version either. Now, more interestingly, a Spider-Man film that concludes with the return of the Savage Hulk could lay the groundwork for something bigger, because something we've talked about for a really long time is the potential for World War Hulk being a Marvel event post-Secret Wars. Having the Hulk go berserk in the streets of New York shortly before the Secret Wars event would definitely set the tone for the character's return to be more classic to the comics, where although the Hulk is a hero at heart, the general public doesn't trust him and often antagonizes him into sort of his angry fits. I could definitely see this happening in a Spider-Man movie, especially with Peter's banter, and if the Hulk does lose control in New York, well, that would definitely get him put on a new list, and with the Red Hulk recently destroying DC, well, I doubt the public would be ready to put up with that. Now at this point, we're looking for some real confirmation, and we might be waiting for that until we get actual set pictures. For this upcoming Spider-Man movie, this stuff has been all over the board, and it's become really hard to figure out what's actually real. We're hearing the film is going to shoot in multiple European locations, suggesting that some of these villains could be one-and-done types, and not some sort of grand plan with Tombstone, Scorpion, and Boomerang working together, but rather one-offs for Spider-Man to take down. We've also not gotten confirmation on Mr. Negative, and there's even reports that the Punisher could be part of this film. So I think we're all going to have to be super patient here, because Marvel's purposely keeping their cards close to the chest, but I have no doubt with the limited slate coming our way from Marvel Studios, they are planning something big. And if they are indeed planning one of the biggest stunt sequences they've ever filmed, well, to me, that does sound like it could be a battle with the Green Goliath, because none of these other villains are really quite capable of that level of event to surpass what Marvel Studios has done in the past. Obviously, we're watching what's going on here pretty closely. The film doesn't come out until July the 24th, 2026, and they are in early production. So we need to keep a close eye on leaks, because we could get some set pictures that start confirming these rumors, and that'll definitely pull all the pieces of the puzzle closer together. But until we know more, what do you guys think? How do you feel about the Incredible Hulk being the MCU character supporting Spider-Man in Brand New Day? And do you want to see Spider-Man and the Hulk face off in what Marvel's calling their biggest stunt sequence ever? Tell me what you think in the comments below. Before we take off, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. We do daily Marvel and DC news, and we want to bring you all the news truthfully and transparently, so you're really in the know.